Hi and welcome to RCKicks. On today's show we finally get round to restoring my vintage Tamiya Vanquish. It's been sitting here in its trays for weeks and weeks now while slowly I'm getting new parts arriving. This car's not the easiest to get parts for, and I'm still missing one or two parts that I'd really like to put into this build, but unfortunately I can't track them down, or they may come available but it could be a few months. There was a possibility to actually put a lot of carbon into this car, but unfortunately the availability of that kit is going to take too long for me to wait. So I'm just going to build it anyway, and if the carbon kit becomes available I will order it in, then we'll readdress it, dismantle the kit and then put the carbon back on. Unfortunately I'd love to have had it here today so that when we built it we could build it with all the carbon from the beginning, but it's just not available and I just don't want to wait. There's a lot of people asking about this car and they want to see it put back together again and the body resprayed and it fully restored. So I have enough parts here now that I can actually restore it to a pretty high level. I managed to even source a whole new chassis, which was great, so it should have no damage underneath and it should look pretty much mint. Obviously this car was never re-reed, so parts are super hard to get hold of. I managed to get hold of all brand new suspension. I'm going to take off the Tamiya upgrade high caps and I'm going to put them on something else. Also the Technical motor that came with this kit is going to go in a different car, so I'm just going to run a standard silver can because I probably won't run this car. This car's it's quite rare and it's quite hard to get hold of, so I probably won't run it. It will just sit on the shelf, so there's no point me putting in a powerful motor, so I'll just put a vintage can that I had lying around. Hey guys, it's Gav from the future. Woo! In this video is a spoiler secret message. So if you put the effort in, you may find it, and it's a cracker. You're gonna love it. Unfortunately, I don't have an original manual. I've been trying to source one, so I've got photocopies, but they're not brilliant. And I really want to get an original manual for this car, but I've been looking for the last couple of months, and for the life of me, I can't find one. I don't know why they're so rare, but I haven't seen a single manual come up. On reflection, I think I'm going to put a sports tuned canned motor in this car and remove the old silver can. The soldering on the leads is terrible, so it's kind of put me off a little bit. Unfortunately, the Vanquish that I purchased was missing a few original nuts and bolts and screws and things like that, so I had to go through my parts bin. I will try and replace everything as best I can to get it back to standard OEM. When I received my Vanquish, one thing that was really good was how smooth the gearboxes were. So when I dismantled the car, I didn't dismantle every single part of the gearbox because it was running so smooth I could have ended up making it worse. So I didn't break everything down.
So far, nothing difficult, just getting all the pieces together. I bought a set of bearings to replace all the bearings and it's missing one. Everything will be fully ball raced apart from one's going to be brass. Damn it, I thought I might have a spare one but I don't. So depending on how difficult it is for me to get back into that gear, I might try and replace it. I'll know once I've built the car a bit more how difficult it is to get back in. It's only a static one. It's not going to have too much of an effect on it, so we just got to go with it. Anyway, let's carry on.
I am a bit concerned on how much pressure you should actually have this under. I wasn't sure and I've never rebuilt one of these, so I'm not sure if I've made it too soft so it will slip or whether I made it too tight. I'll only know when I'm actually going to run the car for the first time. You can see that brass bearing that I missed. Stupidly, it was in the glass jar and I just didn't see it till the end of the build. If I have to adjust the slipper, then when I dig into it to do that, I'll swap it out for the missing bearing. I was so lucky to find a new chassis. It's really going to make this rebuild pop. It was a little bit difficult to get everything lined up. As I won't be running this car very often, having the mechanical speed controller makes it look more authentic and original.
I'm looking outside my window. I try to see where my luck goes. I just don't know how it slips out. There must be some kind of plan. Every person could be you though. A pretty guy with a halo. But who am I kidding, please now? I gotta realize that you what we could do around the world, say to Peru. We lie in bed till it's PM.
I've seen a few Vanquishes that have had the rear swing arms attached to the chassis in the wrong way. The swing arm should attach on the top side of the chassis, not the underside. Also, you need to have the power on switch mount between the swing arm and the chassis. This part tends to go missing. Vanquish has a hell of a lot of bolts, all different lengths and sizes and spaces. It's not a simple bolt together kit.
I'm struck by you.
Well, so far we've built the gearbox, connected it to the brand new chassis that I managed to pick up, and attached the rear swing arms. So far, no real issues. The only slight problem I had was when I fitted the rear plate on the rear gearbox and then we attached it to the chassis, it all sandwiches together and then the bolts go all the way through. And I had a slight alignment issue with the new chassis. It looks like they've actually changed the bottom access plate for the rear gearbox. So I had to fettle it slightly, which is very strange for Tamiya. You don't normally have to do that, but the part was definitely fractionally different. So I'm not sure how that worked, but it went together okay in the end and it's fine. Next,
I'm not going to bother showing you the building of the shocks because I'm sure you've all built hundreds of Tamiya shocks over the years, so I'm just going to skip past that and go straight to where I attach the rear shocks to the upright, and then we will carry on with that. Let's crack on. Any of you eagle-eyed people out there will notice that the rear suspension that I'm fitting right now isn't the original. The bottom section mount is wrong, but I managed to source a full set of originals that went onto this car at a later date.
When you worry, I worry, it's no hurry, 'cause we got all the time we need. If we're in love, then we'll succeed. I heard laughter, I heard music. I thought, baby, there's no way we could ever lose it. There's no way we could ever break or bruise it. But you threw it on the ground.
After all this hard work, a little bit of inspiration of what the car's going to look like when it's finished.
Everything must
That's the rear end finished. Now it's time to turn our attentions to the front.
everything must end.
Yeah. You've been trying so hard, giving all that you got, holding on hard to the past. Don't forget who you are. Is it worth it or not? It will never ever last. Oh, look up outside, the world is waiting. Could all be yours, is what I'm saying. Don't waste your life. He's not the one, 'cause he's playing with your heart. If only I could turn the hands of time, turn it back, just to see you smile. Here's your big mistake. You need to know, just let him go. Just let him go. Just let him go.
I'm still yet to find a brand new replacement bumper.
Deep inside in your heart, you still hope that he cares. You've been waiting up all night. And tell me, why do you think he's not there with you now? Been right there.
Personally, I don't like the front of this car. There's just too many little bits and pieces, and there's some fundamental fragile parts that are very easy to break. I just felt it just took hours to get this front end right, and there's lots of clips and little tiny shims and lots of bolts all going in different directions. Yeah, it's far too fussy a design.
Here's your big mistake. You need to know, just let him go. Just let him go. Oh, oh yeah. Just let him go. You put your head high, girl, this time is right. Time is right. Now you gotta have some fun. Oh yeah. So put
purchased this car, it came with the upgrade high caps. Those are going onto a different car, so I managed to source these front end suspension. Unfortunately, one of them was slightly damaged and it's missing the black mount at the bottom plate that holds the spring in place. Luckily, later on I've managed to source some additional ones to really get the front suspension correct. Part is highly fragile and extremely difficult to replace. So I think you can see from the video now just how finicky this front end is and how long it takes to fit all the different bolts. You can fully tune the front suspension, so I guess that's a plus. As you can see, all my hard work finally paid off and the suspension was working brilliantly by the end. This is the final replacement springs that I used. I'm not a big fan of the dark grey uprights. You can replace them for the lovely gold looking ones from the Avanti, but I haven't decided whether I'm going to upgrade them or not. At the moment the car's very much stock. We're finally getting there, just the front dampers and springs to fit. If you made it this far through the video, thanks very much guys, and for your effort you're going to get a little bit of a spoiler just to let you know that I have purchased the next giveaway car and it is winging its way here soon. I'll be doing a video in the next couple of days to announce it, but just wanted to let you know, so keep it to yourself.
There's no denying what we want. There's no denying what we want. Playing games, no. There's no denying what we want. There's no denying what we want. Playing games.
And finally the front end is done. Wow, what a task. Well, we've come quite far. We're doing okay. It's taken quite a while and it's a lot of work. I can't say I'm in love with this kit that much. It's great to add it to the collection to go with the others, but it's just, there's too many little bits. It's too finicky is a classic, what I would say. There's bolts on bolts on bolts, where if you look at anything that's slightly more modern, it's so much simpler than this kit. I haven't actually built an Avanti. The Avanti that I own was actually built for me, and so was the Egress. So I don't know whether it's the whole family side of it. But comparing it to, say, even the Astute, let alone the Super Astute, they're like night and day cars, especially the front. The front construction, there's bolts going forward, there's bolts going backwards, I know you can adjust a lot, so obviously that you're paying the price of complexity versus how much you can configure them. And there's lots of little pieces and there's a lot to break, so it's a bit like my 959 is the best way to describe it. You have to work for it to get it right, and finding the parts is hard, and then you have to really struggle to get good quality bits and pieces to then build up a car that is really mint. So you kind of like it once you've done it, because you've achieved something that's quite difficult at the moment because they're so old. But do I actually like it as a car that I'd want to take out and drive? Not so much. Saying that, yeah, well, we're jumping ahead a little bit. So here's the car that I'm currently building at the moment, and as for this, well, there's a whole other story on why I have this one now, but you'll have to wait and watch the next episode where I'll explain this car, and we will finally finish building the chassis on my mint original. Thanks very much. Oh, I hope you liked the secret message, and if you haven't found the secret message, you skip forward to the end and you need to go back and look for it, because it's a cracker. Anyway, thanks very much. See you on the next one.